What's up guys, my name is Kai and I am the Nerd of Strength. Well, it's been a crazy couple of weeks with everything happening in the world, and while things have been cancelled and rescheduled, well, now we finally have something to talk about in the Strongman world. So, on March 29th, World Ultimate Strongman announced that they will be hosting their first of their Feats of Strength live streams, which will be free to watch, and the link will be in the description below, where Hafþór Björnsson will be attempting to lift the 501 deadlift on May 2nd in Iceland. And that's really big news, and while I didn't make a video on it because there were other things to talk about regarding World Ultimate Strongman, this part of that announcement is really huge. Because of the global pandemic that I cannot name, we all know that WSM has been cancelled. What was supposed to take place this weekend, April 11th, but has been moved to a later date in the year that we don't know just yet. So with that in mind, WSM and Thor decided that they will be putting on a free live stream to have Thor attempt to break the 501 in Reykjavik, Iceland, in his home gym. And once again, it'll just be Thor attempting this deadlift solely because, well, due to the pandemic, travel is not allowed. And, well, realistically, he was the only guy who might have necessarily been able to deadlift the 501 at WSM. Anyway, with that being said, where does the controversy for this video come in? Well, on April 5th, Eddie Hall, the 2017 World's Strongest Man, did a lockdown live stream Q&A session, and somebody asked him the question about how he felt about WSM and Thor doing the 501 deadlift. And his response was very interesting, to say the least.
I just don't trust the Icelandics. They will pull anything out of their pockets to try and beat me or do anything to top anybody. So I don't trust them. I do not trust them. If they're going to say that's 501 kilo on the bar, I don't trust them. So they can say it's calibrated plates, calibrated bars. They can have the referees there. I don't trust them to do it legitly. I really do not trust them. And again, you can say whatever you want, but if the tables were turned, if I was going to go for 501 kilo in my gym in my basement downstairs with calibrated plates and a referee, no one would count it. No one would count that as a world record. So I'm not going to count it as a world record. He's got to do it. He's got to put, he's had plenty of opportunities this last 4 years. He's had 4 years telling everyone he's going to do it, and he has, he's had the capabilities. Why all of a sudden it's like we're going to this pandemic?
Well, there you have it, folks. Straight from Eddie's mouth, he says that he does not trust the Icelandics, and they will pull anything out of their pockets just to beat him. And that in and of itself is a very controversial statement. And while he does go on to say that Magnus Vermagnusson is an excellent referee, he just doesn't trust them. He doesn't trust their calibrated plates or their calibrated bars. He also says that if the tables were turned, people would give him shit if he had to break the 500 kilo deadlift in the same circumstances that Thor is in now. Well, to be honest, that's completely insane because, well, 4 years ago, the world hadn't gone to shit yet. And yes, Eddie, of course, got to do it in an arena with 12,000 fans, and in a competition. With that being said, he also feels that Thor is just trying to spite him, and why now? Why hasn't it taken him 4 years to attempt the 501 deadlift? And says that he's doing it out of spite. Why wait? Why is he doing it during the pandemic, and why not wait until after this is all over? Well, to be fair, Thor has been training for this lift for a couple of weeks now. He even pulled out of Europe's Strongest Man to compete at WSM and pull the 501 deadlift here, which, yet again, was supposed to take place on April 11th. And then the pandemic happened, and that put a halt to all of that. Thor is close to his peak to pull this deadlift. So why not work with the guys at WSM and whoever can sponsor this event, so he can break the record and also give us fans something to watch while we're all stuck in quarantine. Eddie's saying that he would get shit for it, and if he did it in his gym in his basement, it wouldn't have been a legit lift. Super odd that he says that he doesn't trust the sponsors, or that this, in his eyes, that this wouldn't be considered a legitimate world record. Which is really strange because Eddie Hall has worked with WUS in the past year, being a commentator at the 2019 WUS Dubai event. And yes, like I said before, this event will take place in Reykjavik, Iceland, and as far as I know, it will take place in Thor's gym. However, it is being officially refereed by Magnus Magnusson, 4-time World's Strongest Man, and also the official referee for the Arnold Strongman Classic, Giants Live, and World's Strongest Man. With all this being said, this of course ruffled feathers within the strongman community, but also in Iceland. Runar, who is Thor's training partner and videographer for his YouTube channel, posted a response in his story. Runar wrote in his story, quote, "I was raised to respect strong people. In the 12 years in strength sports, this is the only dark spot I remember. There is no greater sportsmanship than in strength sports. And it makes me sad that Eddie can't just be happy that his torch is being passed to a much stronger human. Records are meant to be broken. These times we live in are strange. And it is not our fault that there is a worldwide virus going on. 2nd of May will go down in history, and everything will be legal and fair. Quote, I don't trust the Icelandics. They will pull anything out of their pockets. End quote. Sincerely, Eddie Hall. Fuck you for that. If there is anything you can count on, it's an Icelander. It is our word, respect and integrity. You sound like a scared little 8-year-old. I have always liked and respected you through everything up until now. Strongest man with the weakest character I have ever come across. With, of course, Eddie being Eddie, he responded to Runar and he wrote in his story, this guy needs reminder about sportsmanship. He then posted a picture of Thor after the 2017 World's Strongest Man, with Thor losing, where he posted, this weekend I was robbed, the integrity of my beloved sport is in question. Later, Thor finally responded to Eddie's call-out post, even though he's been blocked. I'm sure Runar probably showed him the post. He wrote, funny, the guy is so obsessed with me, tagging me in posts trying to undermine the 501 attempt, but actually has me blocked. So I can't see anything. He keeps bringing up the past because he has nothing else to say. Just focus on yourself, man. If you want to talk about the past, let's do it. In 2017, I was robbed and lost by 1 point. You and Colin Bryce worked together throughout the show. The event consistently being changed in your favor while the show was on. Multiple athletes complained about this. The reason you retired was because you knew you could never win again. That's fact. What else have you won internationally? Nothing. And I think that right there is the hardest take of this whole thing. Not only did Thor finally clap back at Eddie, but he also called out Colin Bryce. Now, for you guys to better understand what actually happened, I'm going to take you back to that year and explain everything that went down. Now, I'll just preface this by saying, before the 2017 World's Strongest Man, Hafþór and Eddie were on good terms, and you could say that they were friends. But that all changed after a couple of controversies during the 2017 World's Strongest Man. We can examine the screenshots that have been taken via these stories from Eddie and Thor. On May 28, 2017, Eddie Hall achieved his childhood dream and finally won the World's Strongest Man title, and then soon retired afterwards. On that same day, Thor had posted to his Instagram a disappointed picture of himself and the simple caption of, "This weekend I was robbed. The integrity of my beloved sport is in question." But he soon then deleted the post. However, with this being the internet, nothing's truly gone, and there are saved screenshots floating out there. One major controversy that has been well documented was the first event of the finals was changed at the last minute before the competition had started. On the night before the start of the finals, the first event, the tire flip, was supposed to be a tire flip and chain and drag, but was then changed to just a tire flip. Many believe that that was changed solely because Eddie is bad at moving and stamina-based events, and it wouldn't be that good for him. In that event, Eddie, of course, placed 5th, but it was still better than what he honestly would have done if it was a tire flip to chain and drag event, where he probably would have placed even worse. Then, later on in the finals, the major controversy that most people probably remember from this year was the double dipping controversy. During the finals, Thor went up against Nick Best in the Viking press. Thor was being judged by head referee Colin Bryce and got several warnings from Bryce about double dipping. In the end, Thor scored 15 points, but one was disallowed by Bryce, leaving him with 14 points. Right after that, Eddie Hall went against Martins Lisses and scored 15 points. After Eddie competed, Thor and his team filed a discrepancy with the head referees about how it wasn't fair that he was disallowed the 1 rep. And he felt that because he was disallowed that 1 rep, he had lost out on winning the 2017 title. While there are many things wrong with World's Strongest Man, and I've been very vocal about this, you can very clearly hear Thor getting several verbal warnings about double dipping during the event. And while this is not the video for me to place my personal opinion in it, I'll just let the clip speak for itself.
Down! Thor! Down! Thor, move down! 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 Bring it in! Down! Down! Ready to go!
Later in the British broadcast version of the 2017 finals, they also interviewed Magnus Magnuson, and he also gave his thoughts on the matter.
Thor gets into trouble there with his lockout. Well, the referee gave a warning earlier for bending the knees in the lift. And in that last lift, to try to get that lockout in the end, he moves his hips forward and bends his knees a little bit. And unfortunately, that's not allowed.
And finally, there's also this little tidbit from the World's Strongest Man official podcast.
All right, so Hafþór wasn't given the 15th rep, and he was fine with that until Eddie pulled off 15. And then how quickly was he back at the judges about it?
Well, in defense of Hafþór, he made a few murmurings, of course, when he didn't get given the rep, as he was told by the referees. He wasn't getting the rep, which is pretty much par for the course. As for what happened in between, that's not really for me to say because I wasn't there. What the cameras have shown is what the cameras have shown. What I can tell you is that he realized at the end that 1 rep would have made a difference and he would have been equal with Eddie Hall. This is assuming Eddie Hall had not done another rep, of course.
Yeah.
Before the information being put out there, this is where the Eddie and Thor beef had originally started, and it's been going strong ever since, to the point they don't even talk to each other anymore, and take subtle jabs at each other every now and again. With their feud going strong, just remember, this isn't the first time that Eddie has called somebody out while trying to break his deadlift world record. At the end of last year, Eddie called out Ivan Makarov of Russia when he was going to attempt the 501 deadlift. Eddie in a live stream said, quote, "Doing it in your backyard in a non-sanctioned meet is not okay. If you want to prove it, come to Giants Live Wembley or Leeds. Do it in front of a crowd. Do it in front of everybody to see. Do it in front of the World's Strongest Man official referee with calibrated plates, calibrated bar, where other people are attempting to lift and there's no trickery." Eddie once again being very blunt and saying that he basically doesn't trust the Russians. And while of course Makarov didn't break the 501 on that day, Eddie's comments did lead to them on the live stream weighing each calibrated plate. And he had the same setup just like Eddie Hall did. And the same can be said for Thor. Thor and Woods have stated that this will be the exact same setup that Eddie had. It will be a deadlift bar with a suit with figure eights. And, once again, will be with the official head referee Magnus Magnuson. Eddie being skeptical is a bit odd because, don't forget, Magnuson was the referee for Eddie's 500 kilo deadlift. And to show that there's no bias, Magnuson was also the same referee that disallowed Eddie his, at the time, world record attempt of 461 when Eddie dropped the bar at the top instead of placing it down. I just find it funny that while Eddie claims that this will be trickery and he doesn't trust it, 2 weekends after this, back-to-back, Wuss will again host 2 other Feats of Strength live streams featuring the Stoltman brothers. It seems that Eddie only has a problem when his record's coming into question. Eddie only seems to have a problem with Thor breaking the 501, but hasn't commented on Luke or Tom Stoltman attempting to break the log or Atlas Stone world records respectively. Those guys will be doing it on their home turf, and I'm sure they will be doing it with their home bars as well, and Atlas Stones. But because they're his fellow countrymen, he hasn't commented on that. Some rumors suggest that this is all just an act to hype up the event, which I highly doubt. Others think that this is all staged and is a vehicle for the supposed Eddie versus Thor boxing match that will be taking place, I think, next year. Which, there's no way this is all fake. They legitimately don't like each other. Which sucks because, like I said, they used to be friends before 2017. I'm not sure why so many people are obsessed with wanting to watch 2 amateurs box each other. Like, I imagine that would look like watching 2 bears getting into a bar fight, and honestly, no good can come from that. But that's far in the future. We're talking about the 501 deadlift now. I guess because we're all stuck in quarantine, everybody's loving this drama, but personally, I just want this all to be put to bed already. I want Thor to break the 501 so we can stop talking about it, and whether Eddie considers it official or not, it will be recognized as an official world record, based off of an official head referee's call. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with Thor or Eddie? And will Thor break the 501 deadlift? Whatever the case, we'll find out on May 2nd. And once again, there will be a free live stream put on by World's Ultimate Strongman, and there will be a link in the description below for you to sign up. Once again, guys, my name is Kai. I am the Nerd of Strength. Thank you all for watching. And if you like what I do, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at EastWolfStyle for more. And please check out my podcast, the NOS Podcast. We are currently doing a World Tour series where we talk to strongman fans, amateurs, and pros from all around the globe. I'm enjoying interviewing so many people and learning about different facets of the sport. And not to toot my own horn, but I think the production is getting much better on each podcast. So please check that out. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day.